Thank you for listening to this PodcastOne production. Now available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, PodcastOne.com, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.
The Steve Austin Show is brought to you free today by our friends at BetOnline. Get in the mix at betonline.ag and use the promo code PodcastOne for your 50% welcome bonus. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts and exclusive partner of PodcastOne Sportsnet.
The following program is a PodcastOne.com production.
From Hollywood, California, by way of the Broken Skull Ranch, this is the Steve Austin Show.
Give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Now, here's Steve Austin.
Weighing in at 220 pounds.
Baby Jesus.
Here we go. I got Roddy Piper, a guy that I have the utmost respect for, as I've already told you guys before I brought this cat into the studio. I told Roddy the protocol of the show and how I was going to lay it down. I said, it's not going to be like I'm introducing like you hitting the ring. So I went ahead and threw that at him, and he damn near spit his Diet Coke all over the table. Roddy, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Woof. I'm riding fast, but I'm honored to be here. Steve, it's funny in our business, I've seen you in the locker room and seen you obviously on TV do some great stuff. But there was a gentleman who wanted me to do a show called The Voice. And so I think his name was Michael. And
Michael Chavello.
Okay, so he sent me your episode that you did on The Voice, and I watched it. And I mean this and all, I didn't know anything about you. So as much as we say hello, we really don't know a lot about each other.
No, we never really have crossed too many territories. We've never crossed territories together.
Never.
And you came down the road maybe 10 years before I did.
A little bit.
There's that age gap. But we never really crossed paths as much in high regard as I held you.
Thank you.
To your point, we don't know each other. And so it was funny because you sent me a text out of the blue.
I watched that Voice and started hearing how you came up through the business and how you paid your dues. And I feel bad about this now. I just never thought of you that way. And when I saw that, it's like, well, that's my brother. And that's why I just got out the text and said, great job. And that's how it started. I just, sometimes we get buried in our own stuff and I do. Speak for myself. Well, who's we? You got a mouse in your pocket?
No, but it's funny because you're, and I don't mean this in an antique fashion, but you're so old school. I mean,
yeah,
you paid your dues. You earned your stripes. I mean, you paid double dues. So from your mentality. And it's kind of like me. When I look back, hey, man, I guess this guy, he didn't even really like the business. He just got in to make money.
Yeah.
You're of that pure mindset that you love the business and you pay your dues to work your way up and you gain the knowledge from the bottom as you get the crap stomped out of you along the way. You get smart enough
long
the hard
drives with Swede Hansen.
Yeah, talking to business. Your brain is a sponge. Everybody pours water into the sponge, and you sit there and you ask questions.
Yep.
Now, you really offer nothing. If you're not asking a question, you don't really have any business talking because
That's
you
true.
have no experience with which to speak of. Correct?
That's correct, and they would let you know immediately.
Oh, yeah. I used to ride down the road with Dutch. Dutch Mantel kind of took me under his wing, and we were traveling together. I didn't have any money to pay for any gas, so it was me and him and Chris Champion. They put the gas in my Hyundai Excel. And Dutch was always ragging on me, and this back when I chewed Red Man tobacco, and he'd take all my tobacco and chew it and then leave an empty bag there. And finally, he was giving me knowledge, but he's also, busting my chops.
Yeah, hammering.
So finally, I'd always go, let me tell you something, Dutch. And he goes, there's nothing you can tell me. And he was right. So I just shut up, kept taking his advice and learning.
I remember. I don't know if you can remember this. I can remember when trans was 1 cent a mile. You used to have to pay the driver 1 cent a mile. Then trans went up to 2 cents a mile.
Is that how y'all did it back in the day?
Yeah, like the mid card guys, they would. Their wives would make sandwiches and stuff.
Yeah.
And man. And you'd be on the corner. If you weren't on the corner, you missed. And they would get 3 guys in the car. And in the beginning, they would count the mileage. And at the end of the trip, everybody gave, in this case, a penny a mile or 2 cents a mile. You could buy the sandwiches for 50 cents.
That was an old Bronco Lubitsch story.
I love it.
Yeah, one time back in the day. One of the guys made a bunch of sandwiches for everybody, and a lot of guys just thought he made a bunch of sandwiches to hand out because he was a good guy.
No.
Hell no. at the end of the trip, he goes, okay, so-and-so, that was 2 sandwiches for you, then the trans, and, you collect your money because it's business. When you're scrapping and you're trying to come up in a business, you ain't making a damn thing.
Nothing.
It's kind of hard to get down the road. It was a funny story because I watched a clip of you recently. WWE just announced WWE Network. And they showed some highlights from Legends House, the reality program that you had a part of. And you and I were talking the other day, and you were like, all your years on the road, you like to stay by yourself. Now, coming up, you certainly healed a few rooms and packed guys in a room like sardines to save money because you had to, but by and large, you're a loner. You like to do your own thing.
Yes, sir.
So all of a sudden, you were forced into a room.
Whoa, with
Duggan. Jim Duggan.
First 4 nights, I wouldn't go in the room.
So where were you sleeping?
On the floor in what they would call the living room. It was Harpo Mark's mansion in Palm Beach.
Oh, that's cool.
West Palm Beach. Yeah, kind of. It was done up right. They didn't hold no expense back, but I just always had a hard time falling asleep like that. But eventually, Hacksaw. I don't know how much. I didn't know Hacksaw that well at that time either.
Yeah, I don't know him at all.
I said, okay, so things like this, I go, you're getting up, and I'm trying to take care of my roommate, right? And I says, Hacksaw, did you order your food? He goes, no, I asked it nicely. What does that mean? What does that mean? Somebody's talking about salt in their food and Sodom and Gomorrah, and they turn to a pillar of salt, and Hacksaw looks and goes, salt's bad for you. Non-stop, right? Yeah. He was a wonderful guy.
What, did you guys gel as roommates? I guess we're going to see.
Yeah,
I guess you want to let the cat out of the bag.
No, but I was definitely the dark horse in the whole episodes of it. I have a hard time being harnessed. If I feel like someone's bullying me or harnessing me, I have a hard time.
But you sound to me like you just need your space. I mean, I love people. But most of the people that are close to me know that I'm a hermit. When I go to South Texas, it's just me and my wife, or if I'm just down there by myself. I love seeing human beings, but by the same token, if I go down to my place and I don't see one for 1 or 2 months, I'm totally fine with that.
Absolutely. I've always been, it's hard to believe, but I'm extremely shy, to a fault.
Come on, man.
No, I know.
Straight up?
Straight up. I'm not, all the stories and stuff that Flair tells or whatever, those were done in very wild days with a lot of consumption.
Right.
But as a human being from the beginning, I left home when I was 13, and
Hey, man, you got suspended from junior high, right? Or kicked out of junior high.
Yeah.
And so you had a beef with your father? Oh, you pulled a knife on somebody. I was wondering what happened.
Vice principal. I'll tell you the story.
Yeah, please do. I mean, not a good thing to do if you're in junior high. These days, you can't even carry a pocket knife to school.
True.
No, but tell me about that story because we're talking about paying dues, and I know. Yeah. And here's the thing that it was funny when you sent me that text message because I held you in such high regard. But in doing my research about you, there are so many things about yourself that I did not know.
Yeah.
And man, if you got on the road at 13 years of age, and I know when you had your first pro match, and we'll get to that, but you paid not just dues in the business of pro wrestling, but life dues. Getting out and having to support yourself by yourself.
So
what happened with the knife?
Well, I'm trying to tell you this, and I can just tell you the truth is all. It was in Toronto, and I was trying to go to school, and it's a junior high school, and still in Canada. I don't know why. So it's gym class, and they've got a big swimming pool, and they insist you swim naked. They insist. The YMCA's at that back of the insisted, and I was having a hard time with it. And coach, I had started to amateur wrestle a little bit, whatever. And the coach was really getting on my case, and I said a few words, and all of a sudden the vice principal, and they were cornering me in the locker room. I didn't understand, and I had I had a knife, and I got confused. I just was really scared.
Right.
And there, all of a sudden, I had it, And then, things got real ugly then. And I got kicked out of that school there. I wasn't like you hear all these. I've never tried to hurt anybody. I really haven't.
I get that. I mean,
I'm a bagpipe player.
Well, right, but you got two guys got you in a corner in self-defense.
And I didn't understand. What's the point?
Right.
Why?
I get it.
And living on the street just like that's a hard piece of business there. So I didn't do well in school. I've got about a grade 8 education. Now I scammed my way. Don't get me wrong. Now there was a high school I went to, and I broke into it at night, stole the test. This is a true story. What was the name of it? Windsor Park. And so, I got to pass this thing. So I broke a window at nighttime, and I ran through the school at nighttime, went to where I knew the tests were, grabbed the test, and ran out and hid in a snowbank. And sure as heck, here come the police because there's silent alarms.
Right.
But I'm in a snowbank, right? I was born in Saskatoon. I'm a snowboy. So I take the test home, and I fill out the test, and I'm so proud of myself. And I come in the next day for the test, and it's all handed out. Everybody's taking it, and I have the test under my shirt and my tummy, and I'm really cocky. But ADD kicks in and boredom, and so I switch them, and I was done first. Unusual. However, I was so proud, and I put the test there and waved goodbye to my fellow students, and I came back the next day, and they handed out the tests, and it says, the teacher said, "Sorry, Rod, wrong test." I stole the wrong test. Really, baby Jesus? Give me a break.
Sorry, Rod,
wrong test. Truth.
Classic.
Truth. And I could have done a year in the pen for that.
Well, did you ever end up graduating high school?
They pretend I did.
Right.
I tried to go to school when I was wrestling pro.
Right.
I went back and I got the key to the city in Winnipeg is where I had my first pro match. And I went to visit the school, and they pulled these cards out like you got 50%.
Yeah.
But, this is, if I may, I don't want to bore you.
No.
I'll tell you something that I never really talked about. I was born in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, which is one of the coldest places on earth.
Yep.
100 below with the wind chill. When I was 4 years old, I got my arm caught in a washing machine wringer, and I couldn't get out. You used to put clothes in the washing machine. It would squeeze them to get it out, and the washing machine was plugged in. They had undone the light. The people that were raising me. In the ceiling, and the plug was in there. And I guess from flailing, I hit the plug and hit the emergency thing. Yeah.
Two rollers on top of each other.
You know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, so my arm right up to here. And I was born on 1802 Victoria Avenue. And my aunt was 1602 Victoria Avenue. So I ran down the alley, and I rocked a lot as a kid. And I never said anything. And I was just sitting on the chair, and it's Canada. The liquor stores close at a certain time, so Uncle George, I'm busy. Okay. And then blood started to come down, and they put me in the hospital. And when I got out, they took me right away from Saskatoon, and put me on an Indian reservation called the PA, THEPAS. And it's still to this day the toughest Indian reservation in Canada. It's the home of the World's Trappers Festival. They used to do a program, Wide World of Sports, once a year where they're real trappers. They're not,
Right.
You don't pet the dogs. The dogs
Right.
are chained down. And they had contests of cutting the logs and who could carry the most pounds of flour, which this local Indian guy carried 500 pounds or something. And,
Right.
I mean, just get this. I'm going to tell you. I've always wanted to, and I'm going to tell you now. Hold it, Colin, then I'll quit if you're still talking to me. So I was the only white kid in this Indian reservation. I was so scared. I can't tell you how scared I was. And my first grade, I begged not to go. And to the point where, and I'm not exaggerating anything, I held on to the man's ankle, and the man literally moved his foot like a walking dead all the way and cried. Everybody in the hallway watching me, and the teacher's name was Miss Hill. She says, I take care of the little boy. And they left me, and she took out, in Canada it was legal, it had a handle and this triple leather. And, she got me stop crying there.
Yeah.
Bring, bring, you betcha, shutting up. And when they taught me, they had a new way of teaching. Do you have a pen, anything, pencil? Maybe we could get one as I was going along.
It's the Steve Austin Show pen for me.
I love it.
I got a pocket knife, though.
We'll carve it in here. So in my very first year in school, the country decided that they're going to change the way to teach children. So with reading, you see, I've never read a book cover to cover, not even the one I wrote.
I've heard you say that in interviews. Straight up shoot, you've never read a book.
No, sir. Cover to cover, I can't. A script, I have to have someone read it with me.
Right.
I don't get it. And here's where it came from was instead of teaching you phonics, they taught memorization.
Right.
And so...
Why would they do that?
Because the government thought it was a better way to teach kids and instituted it through the country. Then they had a thing called new math, and I'm writing it down for Steve now, and it's division. We'll put 10 into 1,000.
Right.
What you did is, you look at the 10, and on the side there's a long line. And you go, I know 10 goes into 1,000 one time. You subtract it, that would leave 990. Well, it'll go in 2 times, that's 20. You subtract it, that's 970. And you kept that up, and then you added these numbers and put it up there.
Man, that's some long-ass arithmetic.
Holy cow. Now, while I was in this Indian reservation, they hated me. And I wore muckala.
Why, just because you're a white kid?
Yeah.
Right. It wasn't a personality trait. It was just you was the...
Yes, sir. I was really scared
right.
and, an easy target. And in recess, I was kind of like the foil. But here's what happened. I couldn't go home the way the other kids went. And like in January, February, March, this place is, you can only get around by Caterpillar. I beg you people to look it up. The Paw, Manitoba, THEPS. And I used to have to go by the tree line. And they had these things called timber wolves. And I don't know if you've seen the timber wolf.
That big-ass wolf.
Oh, baby Jesus. No kidding.
Yeah.
They are a pack by themselves. And they would snatch a kid like January, February, March, where game was scarce. If they came on a kid, they would snatch the kid.
Right.
So they taught me I would have to go by like the tree line so I wouldn't get beat up. And I sang a song. I'm embarrassed, man. Okay, hang on. If you're going to tell it, Rod, tell the damn thing.
What song were you singing?
John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. The reason I sang it was if you accidentally came in contact with one of these wolves, they'd turn on you. If one of these wolves heard a human voice, more than likely they get away from it because they get shot or whatever.
Right.
But if you were quiet and they turned and they saw a little piece of game there, boom, they got you.
Jump your ass.
So I'm going to tell you this now. Holy cow. Oh, so the highway was right. We had a little red shack. Okay, we had a little red shack, literally, by the railway tracks. And it was a company shack. And it had a kitchen, 2 bedrooms, a lot of rats down in it. And it was right next to the railway tracks. And across the street was the only person who would speak to me. Her name was Arlene Philly. And her dad owned the general store. I'm across the street, and one of my sisters goes to go to school, and I ran across to hug her, and I got hit by a truck. Maybe going, I don't know, 25, 30 miles an hour. I can remember when it hit me, I went up and I landed on the pavement, but the force had me rolling to the ditch. But I can remember my eyes backwards and seeing the tire. And the guy in the truck was an Indian gentleman, been drinking. But back in those days, like, no, he's getting up. Yeah, okay, goodbye. Right. And they never took me to the hospital. So
Any damage?
don't know.
Yeah.
So then, during the winter, and I'll get out of this in a second, but you need to know. During the wintertime, I have really bad tummy problems. And the only way you can get to the hospital, is a Catholic hospital, is by grader. Caterpillar, thank you, sir. And to get the Caterpillar and bring a kid in, all right, so they get me in, and I got appendicitis. They take out my appendix. Nothing's wrong with them. I had tonsillitis, so they took out the tonsils. And then they'd give me a shot when I cried. Or I was by myself there. And so, okay, move on. And in the springtime, there's so much snow, and it's a logging industry. There's logs in big puddles of snow. And for some reason, Rod liked to roll on the logs,
right.
And boom, in the water, Rod would go. And I got scared to go home because I wasn't supposed to do that. And so I'm with my friend, and her and I rolling on the logs, and we both went down, okay? Oh, and I'm too scared to go home. And right across the street is her father's store, and next to it, kind of like a garage with a pot-bellied stove in it. Arlene and I went across the street, and we took all our clothes off. I'm 6 years old. All our clothes off to hang them to get them to dry.
Right.
But, we're naked in the garage. And Arlene, Arlene's mummy was a very religious woman. And, I can only pick up certain points for you here, but I remember her coming in, and she screamed rape.
Oh,
and she called the police.
Yeah.
And in those days, there was only one policeman he was an RCMP, for 300 miles in every direction.
Right.
And so she called that policeman, and he came. And that policeman was my dad.
Wow.
That's how I started my first year. And then, boom, they moved me out of there to another place. And by the time I got, grade 3 or 4, I was so lost. I couldn't catch on, so I just cheated a lot. I got really good at it, but I never absorbed the knowledge. I can't read a book. That's what it is, man.
Well, yeah, but obviously you're a smart cat. Everybody knows that. I mean, I sit there and watch some of your promos, just the way you could convey a message to an audience. I mean, it was true emotion and content as well. Sometimes I think people get too lost in content, or it's with which bare bones information that comes from the heart and soul. That's what you evoked, and sometimes you spewed that in a very rabid fashion. But hang on for just a second there, Roddy. I got to take care of a little piece of business. Support for the Steve Austin Show comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Home today is so much more than it was yesterday, but at Rocket Mortgage, home is still all about you. During these challenging times, the top priority at Rocket Mortgage is the health and safety of the communities they serve. If you need mortgage assistance, their team is available 24/7 to answer questions and offer solutions. Whether that means saving money on your mortgage or finding a new way to navigate payments. From their home to yours, the team at Rocket Mortgage is with you. Visit rocketmortgage.com/Austin to learn more. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states. NMLS, consumeraccess.org, number 3030. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Push button, get mortgage. With currently no NBA, NHL, or MLB, you might think there's nothing to bet on. Well, you'd be wrong. Our exclusive partner, BetOnline, still has hundreds of events, games, and props to wager on, from their online casino to poker and blackjack. Let them bring the Vegas to you. Missing the NFL? No problem. BetOnline has live daily Madden NFL 20 simulations you can wager on. If you're into entertainment betting, you can still bet on Survivor, Big Brother, American Idol, stock prices, and even the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest. All open 24 hours a day and all online. Visit the website or use your mobile device and join today to receive your new welcome bonus with promo code PodcastOne. BetOnline, your online wagering solution. All right, here we are, continuing my conversation with Roddy Piper, the one and only Hot Rod. Roddy, when did you become interested in the game of professional wrestling? Were you watching it on TV? Did y'all have a TV?
No, sir.
So how did you discover it?
I came 5th in the world playing the bagpipes when I was 14 years old, and which was a really bad experience in my life. And I got picked out of 200 pipers in the world to do the Rose Bowl parade. I don't know, I was 10, 11. So I decided to give it a go on my own. And the way they have youth hostels in Canada. And at that day, they cost $0.25. So you go to the youth hostel, and it opened like at 6 and lights out at 9. And when you come, I swear to you, there was a sign that says, check your weapons and drugs at the door.
Right.
And they would take them and they would give them back to you. And in this thing, it was 3-tiered bunk beds. So when you got there for $0.25, they would give you a sandwich, a cookie, and a little carton of milk. Boom. There was some foosball. You had to be to sleep at 9. 6 o'clock in the morning, rock and roll. They give you 2 eggs, bacon, piece of toast, milk, a towel, shower, get out, and you can't come back the next day.
Right.
But you can come back the day after.
Right.
So I would, at nighttime, I would play my bagpipes with the case open. Now, this youth hostels were in a YMCA. So I'm in this YMCA, and I don't rob anybody till nighttime. What am I going to do during the day?
Yeah.
And there's a gym, and there was this guy. He was an amateur wrestler and boxer. And he took a liking to me. He was a minister.
Yeah.
And he got me amateur wrestling and boxing, and I won the 167 amateur wrestling championship. And when Vern Gagne would come to Winnipeg, my amateur wrestling coach, boxing coach, would be the referee just for that night, a local, right?
Right.
So I don't know who. I think it may have been Buddy Wolf, but somebody missed a plane, didn't show. And my coach comes to me and he says, I can get you $25.
Wow,
Go down
money.
Whoa, baby.
Yeah.
At $0.25 a night,
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah.
So I said, but he said, you're going to lose your amateur status.
Wow.
Yeah, but
$25.
$25, baby.
Time to turn pro.
Time to turn pro. So
Now, this is at 14, right?
15 now.
15, okay.
So I've never seen a pro match. And
Jesus Christ.
I went to my pipe band and said, they said, all enthusiastic, we'll play in. Okay. So I got to the Winnipeg Arena, and my opponent was Mr. Perfect's dad, Larry the Axe Hennig.
I heard this. Now, stop.
Okay.
Larry the Axe Hennig, to anybody that listens to the show has never heard of Larry the Axe Hennig. This was a big, burly, 300-pound crowbar of a man.
Whoa. I'm just
tough.
Hold me there, and let me tell you a Hennig story quick. You know that eye poke that I've done so long?
I was going to bring that up. You got the greatest double eye poke. I mean, if Three Stooges maybe, but you're the best ever.
I love you. This is where I got that from. There was a guy, 2 of the boys. One's name was Horst Hoffman, and the other guy's name was Billy Robinson. And
Billy Robinson?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and they all talked about Wiggins, which was a place over in England that's just supposed to be great hookers come from there, and are great
hookers mean talking about real wrestlers.
Yes, real
wrestlers. That can hurt you. Not hookers that you pay money to for services rendered.
No, that came months later.
Yeah. Okay.
And I didn't charge much either.
Yeah, we're at the first set of hookers.
So Larry Hennig's a family man. And Horst Hoffman and Billy Robinson and Jeff Ports, they're talking about some girls they had the night before that were very, very underage, very inappropriate. And they're these big shooters. And Larry Hennig says, you can stop that kind of talk now in the dressing room. I have a family. And, these guys are tough guys. And Horst Hoffman comes up to Larry Hennig, and Larry Hennig stands up like he's going to do something. Like Horst's going to do something. I swear to you. Larry Hennig took his 2 fingers, went pow in his eyes. End of the day.
Are you kidding
me? No, sir.
A double eye poke shoot?
Pop! Right, and that horse...
What Horst do?
Nothing. His eyes were so close. This is Larry Hennig.
Right,
driving him in. And his eyes just closed. He couldn't see. Larry just sat down.
What did Billy do?
Not a damn thing.
Exactly.
Billy Robinson's a coward. He only beats you up if he know you can.
Really?
Yes, sir. Not that he's not good at what he does.
Right.
I'm not saying that, but like there was a guy named George Gordianko that trained me. Billy Robinson didn't want nothing to do with, nor did Carl Gotch. They respected each other.
But going back to Larry the Axe-Hennig, big dude, tough dude, family guy.
Thank you, family guy.
You're going to have your first match with Larry the Axe-Hennig. I can't say you couldn't be in a more intimidated position because of who this guy was. So what happened? How did you guys have a short conversation before the match? And then, of course, Larry, I can't imagine there's a whole lot of communication in the ring. Bing, bang, boom. Let's go home.
Holy cow!
What happened?
Well, okay, now. The four bagpipers are dressed to the hilt.
Right.
There's a bass drummer with the big fluffy hat. He's got a pint of scotch and a boom, boom, boom. And two snare drummers.
Yeah.
And me, 167 pounds, wearing the kilt from the band.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is all I know that Larry Hennig said through the promoter, El Tomko. This is what I got. Just be like a Greyhound bus and leave the driving to us. What does that mean? Excuse me? Clarity here? So, my pipe band started, and as they were playing me out, my first name is Roderick. Short for Roderick is Roddy. That's what the announcer knew. And he had to say something. And he said, ladies and gentlemen, here comes Roddy the Piper.
Right.
And Larry's face was red. There was smoke coming his eyes. And because there was no music. It was sawdust.
Oh, so basically he thought you was insulting him.
I was trying to, yes, sir.
You was upstaging the man.
Exactly.
On your first endeavor.
So you know it.
You're greener than grass. How dare you?
My first match.
Right. Unbelievable.
Who are you?
The
What's
showmanship.
What's this?
The production.
And the boom and Larry's in the ring.
Oh, my.
Oh, bad move, Rod. And all I really remember is kind of like, ding, ding.
Start, finish. It was a short bus ride.
Short? It was a short bus ride, sir. Shortest match in the history of the Winnipeg Arena. Lasted 10 seconds, including the 3 count.
Right.
And he broke my nose and split my eye open. And I got back to the dressing room. I had my head down, It wasn't very... I used to think I was tough. Not anymore. And there was Mad Dog was in the locker room. And
Michonne?
Oh, yeah. And I just put my head down. And they used to have these shoes called penny loafers.
Yeah.
They put pennies in them. I could see the promoter. I could just see the penny loafers because my sight was rather...
Got eyes swole shut.
Yeah. And I thought he was going to duke me out of my $25. And he said, kid, you did great. How'd you like to go to Kansas City?
Come on.
And they had, no, sir. They had,
You did great. You lasted 10 seconds with the axe. You did great.
Yeah. And they put me in a van that night. And when it come to the border of the United States, they put the mats from the van over me. And I was just asked, my kid sleeping?
Right.
And I never stopped. And for the first 4 years, they beat me up every night. But the first 4 years, I didn't have a number. So I was expendable. So I was a very handy tool to have.
Right. Well, hey, all of a sudden you go into your first match. You lose your amateur status. You're a pro. Kid, you did good. We're going to Kansas City. So how long does this decision-making process last? Because all you got is you. So you just pack up and go? What?
Because I didn't have anything like... At the youth hospital, there's no closet.
Right.
And
it's every other day.
And
it ain't like you got a whole bunch of junk there.
I got $25 and I got a ride. I think it's more out of fear.
Right.
I was scared to say no.
Hey, talk to me about on-the-job training then, because then technically no one ever really taught you pro wrestling. You learned in the ring.
Yes,
so then how did the progression go, and what kind of cats were you working with? Obviously, you were most likely working babyface,
yes,
working with big-ass, heels that could lead you through a match if that's what it is, or beat you.
Yeah.
But you learn the basics, the very basics of psychology by taking an ass whooping from a vicious heel.
Yeah.
Right?
How
long before they let you get some offense in?
4 years.
Really?
Yeah, like my second match was against Superstar Billy Graham on Fern's Television.
How does Superstar take care of you?
You know what? I tell you, he might have bested Larry. He might have got it done in 9 seconds. But when I came down, you went down on these steps in this kind of grimy little place, and Superstar was coming from behind me, and he looks at me and he goes, we were a little short on time, or I would have given you more. I looked at him like BS, and he cracked up laughing.
Right.
And he loved me from there.
Really?
Yeah. Really.
So, you'd been around by then. Who was the first guy to really kind of take you under his wing and shine you up and make you look like somebody?
I'll tell you what, seriously, for 4 years, every day at 8 o'clock in the night, they took pleasure in stretching me.
Well, yeah.
For like 4 years.
But again, you and me are from a generation removed from each other, but that's just the way I hear it was. And you're here to say that's the way it was.
Yes, sir. We'll get into how I got a genius as a mentor, but just before that, they would do things like this. We were driving from Winnipeg. We had to drive all night to do Minneapolis TV.
Yeah.
The guy's name was Dave Muir, and Bobby Jones were the old-timers. I was in the back seat. And they wouldn't put the heat on. They said they were too hot. And I had a bologna sandwich and a bottle of 7-Up to eat. And finally, the bottle of 7-Up exploded. Frozen exploded.
Jesus.
Also, there was a time when, like, license plates were odd and even. You could only get gas on those times. And so they had a 6-foot credit card for me. And they stopped by, because every farm had this pink gas that was cheaper. And I'd have to siphon the gas and bring it to the cars. And every damn farm seemed to have a German Shepherd, and I didn't speak no German. Now, but I'd rather get bit by the dog than what's going to happen to me. And then, in Dallas, just to kind of give you an idea, my job in Dallas, I'm the only guy, I think, to get kicked out of the Alamo Plaza Hotel in Dallas. They don't clean the rug. They just put another layer on. And
what'd you get kicked out for?
My dog ate the owner's poodle. My dog's name was K. Fabian. He was a pit bull. I never fought him. And K. Fabian. He ate his poodle.
K. Fabian.
Damn. Yeah, K. Fabian. So, and he used to sleep. I had a Vega hatchback. I used to sleep in. I kept the cooler open so he could get water and stuff.
What year was it, Vegas? 72, 73?
Yeah, in there someplace. Can't remember. But in Dallas, my job was, Fritz came to me, my job was to get wrestled, change, and get the fire marshal's daughter and take her out and make sure that she enjoyed wrestling. That way Fritz could get more people than the fire code allowed.
Right.
Like, those kind of jobs never ended.
Right.
So without getting into that and kind of moving on, so I maybe worked 12 territories, and I got sent to L.A.
But while you were there, before you got to L.A., I mean, you have fire. As a babyface, you have fire. Some babyface ain't got fire. As a heel, you had a mean streak. I mean, and I believe you have to have the two key things that I think a person needs to succeed in the business of pro wrestling is fire as a babyface, mean streak as a heel. You just got to. Yeah. You had to have fought for some of the stuff you were getting there to start that fire. I mean, you're a fiery individual anyway. You have seemingly a chip on the shoulder, always trying to kick and scratch your way for everything because nothing was handed to you. But you were having to fight for what you were getting in that ring because I know you had to shine some.
Yeah,
and you had to fight for that against veterans.
It came after a while that I just fight as hard as I could because
there you go.
At least try.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you. Oh, this is a family-friendly one. Yes, there's a lot of stories that happened to me, but when I finally got to the Olympic Auditorium, there was this guy named Leo Garibaldi. Mm-hmm. Now, for anybody that's interested that wants to become a pro wrestler, I used to go to UCLA Melnick Hall, and you can watch Gorgeous George, Warren Bockwinkel, Leo Garibaldi when he was 16, his dad, the whole thing reel to reel, frame by frame. I used to study them. And so now Garibaldi's the booker.
Right.
So what they did in those days was I would spend 6 weeks in Texas and Amarillo for Funk, doing jobs, 6 weeks in Dallas doing jobs, 6 weeks in KC doing jobs. So the faces were new.
Right.
And then they just shipped me off to L.A. to do that.
Hey, man, do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. And I bet it can be hard work. You know what's easy? Bundling policies with Geico. Geico makes it easy to bundle your homeowners or renters insurance along with your auto policy. It's a good thing, too, because you already have so much to do around your home. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. It's Geico easy. Visit geico.com today. That's geico.com.
What kind of coin were you making doing that little rotation there?
I was getting like $10-15 a match. They had one promoter, he'd put a roll of quarters in your hand, and they finally had to smarten me up. Like, then he'd put another $1, and when you smiled, he stopped. You know, and so like,
Okay.
and I can, yeah, there's so much.
So we're back in L.A. now.
Okay, thank you. I love you. That's what Vince says. You know, you put blinders on Piper, he's fine. But I love you. So,
One tackle, drop down, get it again.
Again, brother. Keep it simple. I have big problems with that. But I'm trying. So, Leo Garibaldi sees this. I don't know. I'm maybe going a $1.75 now.
You've gained a little weight.
I have gained some weight, you know, and bagpipes, babyface.
Yep.
So, the Olympic Auditorium in L.A. is predominantly Hispanics.
Right.
All that carry knives for paring, I'm sure. So I come in and he looks at me like, and he just pauses. And what's going through his head is, I got a skinny white kid playing the bagpipes as a babyface. What am I going to do with this guy?
Right.
He comes to me. This man was brilliant.
Right.
He says, I'm going to give you a big break. I'm in. I'm in.
Let me think about it. I'm in.
I'm in.
Yeah.
He said, the guy's name was Java Rook, whose real name was Johnny Rods, but when he was on the West Coast, he put the Days Inn curtains around his head as a toque and wrestled as Java Rook. He says, I want you to go in there and don't lay a glove on him. Just let him beat you up. And he walked away. And I thought to myself, here we go again. Well, what was I couldn't beat the guy up anyway, so I got in the ring.
Go with the program.
Go with the program, and he just beat the dog out of me. And TV was on Wednesdays, and the house show was on Fridays. The next Wednesday TV, there was this big campaign for cigarettes. I got to I'm not sure if it was Camel or whatever it was. And there was a cowboy with a black eye, and it said, I'd rather fight than switch. Leo Garibaldi, the next Wednesday, had a T-shirt for me that said, I'd rather switch than fight, and he made me Java Rook's manager.
Really?
And from there, they put a mic in my hand. I don't know why, Steve. I don't like parties. I'm sure we've gone through that. I just don't have a problem with the camera. I don't know why.
Right.
I never wanted to be one. Some things I don't know. But I saw an opening. Then a guy named Judo Gene LaBelle.
I know Gene.
I'd be maybe 17, 18-ish now. And he saw how bad I was getting beat up, and he said, come here. And he took me under his wing for a long...
If any of you people don't know who Gene LaBelle is, I mean, he's one of the most celebrated stunt guy, tough guy, judo guys, baddest, sweetest guy in the world.
Beautiful guy.
God, he's such a sweetheart. I met him at the Honda dealership. Well, I saw him in Cauliflower Island. I met him at the Honda dealership buying a little scooter. He's just the greatest. So he says, kid, we got to toughen you up a little bit.
Absolutely.
So what do you do?
He took me... So Friday nights, before the matches, all the guys that thought they were tough and wanted to try to be a wrestler, they came early. Well, he put me in the ring with them and just instructional as we went along. This guy's beating the trash out of me, and it's kind of like Gene's going, you might want to block, and I started, and then he started taking me down to the dojo. And, he trained Bruce Lee, Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
And she's only given away, 21 black belts. He's 80 years old still. I love him. I wrote prefaces for his book. But he showed me how to take care of myself. And at that same time, I was doing things like playing the cucaracha on the bagpipes,
Right.
da-da-da-da-da. And that was how I got my first break. And before, I know you're going to get another question, but with Leo Garibaldi, I want to show you how what a genius he was. So we're driving to Bakersfield, just Leo and myself. And, again, like you explained, I would listen to these guys for hours till I was going to puke.
Right.
Throw up. And I just but the thing was, I wasn't getting it.
Right.
Right? You're going to tell me that story again? And yes, and I'm going to keep telling it till I see a bell ringing. And we're going to Bakersfield, and there was a tag team called Gordman and Goliath. And they hated Chavo Guerrero, who was the top babyface at the time. There's a big jealousy thing. So on the way there, I said to Leo, I says, so what's going to happen tonight and all this kind of stuff? And he says, I'm going to have Chavo beat Gorman. One of the yeah, whatever. Yeah, and he keeps talking wrestling and stuff. And so we get to Bakersfield, and I'm sitting there, and it's a little round building. And Leo Garibaldi lays out the biggest bunch of baloney, nothing that he told me, that I've ever heard. It was so bad, everything so bad, that all of a sudden, Gorman and Goliath, they're getting hot. And they're half Hispanic and half English, talking back and forth. And now they hate Leo. This is stupid, this is And all of a sudden, Gorman goes, I'm going to put Chavo over just to show you. That's genius.
Right.
That is genius. And he started teaching me the psychology.
Yeah.
And then he said, the moves are just a translation for the psychology.
Right.
As words are
for
changing thoughts.
Right.
Brilliant.
So the light went off.
Thanks for letting me get
but the light went off in your head as soon as Gorman
Yeah.
said, "Hey, okay, this is what we'll do."
And then I started listening.
Right. But it's funny because, you know, when you or I talk to some young cats every now and then, you can tell them to your blue in the face, but sometimes, and you can just see it because we've been there and done it and experienced it. It's not really going in yet because it's not ready to go in.
Exactly.
And at a certain level, it will start to be able to sink in. Some people will always be impervious to it. Some will soak it in sooner than others.
Yeah.
But that's just the way the business is.
It is. And you can tell, like, I know you, if you're driving down the road, you see somebody younger, you know it almost in a beat and a half. That's worth it. Or wonderful guy, but that's what it is.
Yeah. And sometimes you got to go through the process just to, you know.
To find out.
Yeah.
Or to be nice.
Yeah. But so anyway, you guys, the light bulb goes off in your brain, and you're getting promo time. Leo gave you a mic. Whoa. So, man, I mean, where were your promos coming from? I mean, like, because you're known as being one of the best promo guys of all time. It's always funny to me when someone wants to lay down their top 5 promos, and you know, most people. The thing about wrestling, the thing about the in-ring product or the microphone. It's really subjective by and large for the most part. Subjective. But among top guys, that's a different story.
Yes, sir.
So when I would say my top talkers, you are on that list. There's a difference. There's good and bad, and there's people that don't know. It's like, I love rock and roll music. Some of my best friends play rock and roll guitar. I can listen to the same thing they're listening to, but I don't really get it. I get it on my level.
Yes.
So we're talking on a higher level. So with that being said, what was the genesis of the Hot Rod or just the Roddy Piper promo in general?
Holy cow. Good for you.
See what it did
good
there?
Good for you. I see what you did there, and you did it really good and with respect. I love you. I'll tell you the truth. At that time, I was harboring so much humiliation and anger and rejection and like no pity party here. I'm just answering the question, you know.
Straight up.
And I've been beat up so many times. One time to the point that I was taken to a hospital and they couldn't figure out who I was. That when I got that mic, I just let it out.
Right.
And it was like therapy.
Yeah.
And I had so much in it. Yeah. I mean, I was, you know, everything's my fault, but I remember when I was 13, it's kind of silly, but I sat on a curb in a town, and I started crying. And about 2 or 3 hours later, I figured out, no one's going to come.
Right.
Well, okay, guess you better get up. Mom's not going to make you the sandwich. Right. And other things that had happened, and so I can say anything, you got it.
Right.
And then the more, as I went along, I started to change the structure of interviews because, like, the Crusher or Billy Graham, all great, Dusty Rhodes, they're all great, but they go like, oh, I'm going to rip your rib cage out, tear your eye out. But that never happened.
Right.
So I started a system where if I said it, I had to try to do it. Otherwise, you lose all your credibility.
Right. You're building credibility. I get you.
Yeah. And, like and when one works for you, you get a tremendous amount of confidence.
Right.
So the one that really worked for me was I was sitting on a donkey painted as a zebra. Like I got the idea in Tijuana, and I had a T-shirt that said Conquistadors of the Guerreros.
Are you still in L.A. at this time?
I'm in L.A.,
okay,
yeah. And I got the mic, and I'm like rolling. And I got a sombrero on, and I got a piece of tree branch with a string and a carrot.
Oh, Jesus
all right?
Christ.
And I'm rolling. Okay. Luckily, here we go. Now, that TV went all over the world in Spanish. I still remember the number, RI 95171. I think it was channel 54-ish, 32, 54. Still going.
Yeah.
The president of the channel got so hot, went to and we're going to take them off TV.
Really?
A lot of heat. And I'm going, no, and you apologize, I'll apologize. So, like, it took about 2 weeks of TVs, and I said, the gaita is the word in Spanish for bagpipes. I said, listen, I'm so sincere, I'm so sorry, and all right, I'm trying to learn it's hard because it's a Scottish instrument. Okay, all of a sudden I say, I got it. When you come on Friday nights, I'm playing it.
Okay.
So, baby Jesus, man. I got up in that ring, and the announcer's name was Jimmy Lennon, who saved my life.
Wow.
Great man.
Yeah.
He saved my life from a guy shooting me. Another story. So, I got in the ring, and I said to Jimmy Lennon, please tell them to be quiet and stand for the Mexican national anthem.
I smell a rat.
Brother, they stood up, babies in their arms, total commitment, hand over the heart.
Of course.
Could have heard a pin drop. At that moment, I went to myself, I wonder, and before I knew it, and I played knee, and there I, da 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 da. Holy cow! The chairs were bolted. The chairs came up. The first successful stabbing. The match never got started. But wow.
Shooting heat.
What a roll.
Straight up heat.
Yeah, too much to the white.
Right.
Red's good, but I was getting
Right.
in the white, and it made the AP in our business, and it gave me a confidence boost.
Right.
So now I got Gene, and I'm starting to form my own formula, and then just like an incredible bunch of talented guys that were teaching me. Incredible, man.
But you love being a heel.
I'm a born heel.
You're a born heel.
I hate being a baby.
I wanted to be a heel because that's what shy kid, same, little different background, but shy kid.
Yeah.
And for me, just being a heel, having that freedom, and you can't fail. You can be not a good heel.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can't fail from the performance standpoint. It's execution, and it was real. I made my biggest mark as a babyface, or maybe a gray area babyface. But you love being a heel.
I still would be one.
Support for the Steve Austin Show comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Home today is so much more than it was yesterday, but at Rocket Mortgage, home is still all about you. During these challenging times, the top priority at Rocket Mortgage is the health and safety of the communities they serve. If you need mortgage assistance, their team is available 24/7 to answer questions and offer solutions. Whether that means saving money on your mortgage or finding a new way to navigate payments. From their home to yours, the team at Rocket Mortgage is with you. Visit rocketmortgage.com/Austin to learn more. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states. NMLS, consumeraccess.org, number 3030. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Push button, get mortgage.
the way, you know what happened? Is in WrestleMania 2, I can't figure it out.
Now, this is a boxing match between you and Mr.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, do you want me? I'll stick with you because I'll go all over the place.
Okay. No, we're everywhere anyway. Look,
We're already,
look,
he says, you've already done that.
There's a studio of people in here watching. This is my first time here at the PodcastOne studios in Beverly Hills. I'm back from Texas. I got all kinds of technology. I made notes for Roddy Piper, and I knew as soon as we got in the room, we would just start shooting the breeze. So here's the thing. Yeah. You're in L.A. all the time, so
yes,
you can drop in and out as much as you want to.
I would be honored.
We're just doing audio whoop-ass. We ain't got to follow anything chronological.
Thank God.
I do this show for the working man and the working woman, and as long as they're happy, I'm happy. And obviously, you're over here laughing your ass off, so you got to be having a good time, or that shows your range as an actor.
I know. It's really cool. This is very cool.
So I send you in. You duck a couple elbows. I put you in a sleeper. And then you reverse that, and you got me in a sleeper. So where do you want to go with this? Do you want to stay in L.A., or you want to talk about Piper's Pits, or you want to talk about NWA? What about the dog collar match with Valentine? I mean, we're all over the place.
Yeah.
Where do you want to go?
Well,
because, I know you love being a heel.
That's where, yeah.
But you're scrappy, and you had to work for every single thing. Because, man, just always try to want the younger generation to learn something out of the shows when I talk to people like you. Obviously, I don't talk to too many people that are in your ballpark, but you know what I'm saying. So this is a guy who was a heel because he a lot of things that happen in your life, but from the performance part of wrestling, you wanted to be hated.
Yes.
Same here.
I loved it.
And when you reverse it, because I always thought this about you, Roddy. I always thought that as a heel, you can make every single person hate you. They weren't divided. No. I mean, there was a small smidgen, but those, that's just because. And when you were a babyface, you made people love you. There wasn't, it was almost all or nothing with you. And that's as about as good a compliment as you can give a guy who's trying to be a heel or trying to be a babyface.
Very kind. The thing was, when you worked the territories, what I learned was you had to come in as a heel and then turn babyface because you got a double run.
Right. And
what guys don't understand, and then you were finished that territory for L.A., for instance. You go to Portland, nobody knows who the hell you are.
Right.
Okay, quick Don Owens.
Let's do it. Don Owens, Portland Wrestling.
All right, so I'm scared to leave L.A. because I'm on top, and and
things are good.
Things are good, and Rod, why? Yeah, because if you really want to do this, one thing that I watched all the time was my progression and my age. I was ready to take a left-hand turn if things weren't going good.
And you were still very, very young.
Yeah.
In the wrestling business.
Little
geez.
too young.
Yeah.
A little too young. Geez, what was I going to tell you?
No, you were going to Portland Wrestling. It's a Don Owens story.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, finally I get the guts to go. And it's live TV with Don Owens. Now, Don Owens, if you don't know him, he was a wonderful man. And Thanksgiving, he would bring turkeys for the boys, and one year they had the midgets, so he bought them Cornish hens.
That's great.
Yeah, he's that kind of ranch, and he's a good old guy. So it's my first day in the territory, and he's heard whatever. So all right, he's announcing, and I'm in the ring, and I tell him shut up for the Scottish national anthem, whatever. Boom, blow up the bagpipes. And I used to play them like Jack Benny. Just total, actual torture to booming. They start booing. Thank you, baby. All of a sudden, Don Owens, stop. He stops me. He looks at the crowd. Stop. He says, now, I can't play the bagpipes, and neither can you. Let's give him another chance. Never mind. Just take the bagpipes, and I'll move on.
Yeah.
And now, so, I always ran into this. I just was a story. And then, so in Portland, what I had learned from L.A., I started to be able to apply with no restrictions, and here nobody knew what I was doing. That was really important, to keep that to yourself. In the code, what you're doing, you keep to yourself. You never open up. And so what I learned from L.A., I used in Portland what I learned from L.A. and Portland. The next shot was Charlotte,
Right.
and we get to Charlotte and NWA Crockett. Wall out of control by this time too. The business had been swelling.
Okay, out of control.
Yeah.
Talking about on the party end, or you talking about?
I'm talking about,
Or
you
just
couldn't even call it partying. It was a
lifestyle.
Lifestyle.
Caught up in the highs of being in the business and successful, the confidence. You guys are flying.
You could do anything you wanted to do.
It was bulletproof.
Right. Fastest gun, slamming cars, and just bad, and wild.
Bad, but
had a blast.
But I mean, dare I say, acceptable back then. These were,
yes.
This is what that era was.
One of the ways, because we didn't have the media, that we would get attention. Right. For instance, Jay York we'd come out of a small town, and Jay York with a 12-foot bullwhip around him and a buck knife, 6'5", 300 pounds, go to a restaurant and say, "Give me a dozen eggs and a pound of bacon." And then Gorgeous George would be down in the beauty parlor with the window getting his hair done. And so that's the way. And then Piper just got arrested. Right. All right, good. We got a card.
Yeah.
And that's the way it was.
Right.
But we started losing people.
Right.
We're losing them fast for all kinds of different reasons. And so I come to the dog collar match. We just, trying to get there.
No, but in listening and reading about you spoke to, there was a period and you went to a real black hole. I guess maybe it might have been the one of your really low points. And the business had been losing a lot of guys.
Yeah.
What was that the wake up call for you? To peel back a little bit in moderation, or you just hit a bad spot and you stayed there for a while?
I'll tell you. I'm being honest. I'll tell you what happened to me, where I got kicked into. I don't care whether I live or die.
Right.
So I'll take us back to L.A. for a second. Vince McMahon Sr. and Mike LaBelle, the promoter here in L.A., all promoters, every Monday they would talk, and I had this house, and who did you have on top, etc. And so Mike LaBelle's bragging about me, and he has Vince Sr. rather come bring me in. And I don't know, maybe I was 19, 20, whatever that is. Holy cow. So I come into Madison Square Garden, I come in a car, and they pick me up, and there's some just kind of new young wrestlers like Andre the Giant, Tony Atlas, Bobby Backlund, Bruno Sammartino.
And just a couple of Hall of Famers. Future Hall of Famers.
Yeah, little guys. And I'm probably, again, about $1.80. And the bagpipes is a woodwind instrument. You have to play it a little bit before you go out. When I first came into the garden, Captain Lou Albano come to me, and he squeezed my chin, Paisan, and he gives me a hug. It's Wrestling Love. We don't want you here. We've been watching you on that Spanish TV.
Right.
Get out of here.
You didn't know that was a shoot at the time.
I thought it was Wrestling Love.
Right.
And Freddie Blassie, classy Freddie Blassie, had a cane and come over and slam me in my shins. I know not to react by now.
Yeah.
Hey, you kid, pencil neck geek, da-da-da-da, we don't want you. Nice guys.
Right.
Warmed up the bagpipes, and I put them aside. Mm-hmm. And the truth is, I was doing push-ups trying to look like 181 pounds.
Yep,
whatever.
Get your little pump.
Just anything going my way. I come out there and, of course, tell them all to shut up for the Scottish national anthem. Well, Madison Square Garden is just 24,000 Puerto Ricans with knives.
Right.
It takes them a while, but I knew, I was confident. And
right.
Promoters came from Japan, Germany, and the McMahons are out there to look at this boy wonder.
Hell of a damn opportunity to.
On top of 19 in the most prestigious venue in the world.
Right.
And as we know, boom, I went to play the bagpipes, and nothing came up. Mm-mm. And again, I came fifth in the world. Mm-hmm. I'm changing the spark plugs on the fly, the oil, what's going on.
Right.
A lot. I'm scrambling, drop them, go after the guy, do the finish, come back to the locker room, literally. Don't call us, we'll call you. Left in a cab.
Right.
Back to the airport. And, like I totally fell on my face. And everybody was happy about it because I had been on top so young that, they wanted you to fail back then. So it was a little brutal from that perspective. But finally I went, what happened? And I grabbed the bagpipes in the cab. Like I was like a deer I don't know what I'm saying, in the headlights.
So you didn't know that you had been screwed yet. You're about to find that out upon examination.
Yeah.
The bagpipe, go ahead.
Because, all of a sudden the match is over. I'm back. Get out.
Yeah, you failed.
I failed.
Yeah.
Get out. And
you don't know why you failed.
Not a clue.
So what happened?
And I barely showered. I put, literally, get out.
Yeah.
And there's a cab, and I go back. And I'm pretty crestfallen at this point. And then what the heck? And bagpipes? And when they said they didn't want me, they meant it. And
crestfallen turned to straight up rage and anger.
Humiliation.
They sabotaged your bagpipes.
Freddie Blassie put 6 feet of toilet paper. Where your fingers are, it's called the chanter. Put 6 feet of toilet paper up there so they wouldn't work. It's like if you were Elvis Presley and coming to get you cut his mic off.
Right.
Holy cow. And, I didn't have anybody. I was by myself. I didn't have any family. And I got really mean and didn't care if I lived or died every day. And almost push it because I almost wanted to be put out of my misery. So when I got into bad situations, it looked like courage, but it was coward because I would just pull right into it. It was a hard shot.
That was a very hard shot. But along with that, on top of the way you come up through your youth, getting on the road at such a young age, learning the business like you did, and then all of a sudden you're gaining confidence, momentum, steam, the big opportunity. Oh, they flat out tell you they don't want you there. Then they prove it. You don't know what's going on, and all of a sudden then there's the screw job, and that's when everything turns to rage and anger. And it almost seems like I created a thing, Roddy, back in the day. I told Brian Pillman after I attacked him in the ring, and I told him, DTA, brother, don't trust anybody.
Yeah.
It sounds like you were living DTA 24/7.
Yeah.
Because it was you against the world.
I still have trust issues.
Yeah.
And I can't open up about the business side. You know what? Here's something. Mick Foley said something. Let's just kind of stay here for a second. It might be interesting to your fans. As you know, we won't say about. Someday we'll talk about how professional wrestling got started in
another day. Yeah.
But like what you got to understand this. Gorgeous George and all those boys and people coming in hats and ties and minks, okay? And all of a sudden, I don't know, 59, 60, 61, there's business is corrupt, falls on its face, but there was all these guys like 35 that were going to be the next main event. They're over to getting another job. They got families, and boom. And so they all formed territories, and now I come. Are you kidding me? This kid, that was their attitude. They didn't want it. And they were very happy I failed. So after taking that in, I went a long time, meaning I went through from L.A. to Portland to Charlotte, where a guy with a knife, I just came at him. He stabbed me, and I didn't care. I honestly didn't care. To Atlanta, where things got really out of control. And you know who first wanted to take over the world? Was Jim Barnett.
Right.
And he had me sign a contract with Ole Anderson. Had one of the very first contracts. But his friend was a Chicago Tribune guy, and he didn't want to bust borders. And after they signed me the contract, they fired me and blackballed me over the entire world. And I had my at that time, my first child, and they set me up. I was with Tommy Rich at a double shot. Tommy Rich accidentally, whatever, went 100 miles the wrong way and had to turn around for Chattanooga. And there was cops posted. Anyway, made the double shot late, and then they fired me, and they turned me into the IRS. and they blackballed me around the world. And that's where I loved Ric Flair so much, because at that time, like, I could only go to like Japan, Santo Domingo, Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
And I got a child, man. So, and when I got blackballed and all this happened, my wife and I said, go to a movie, and it was just the first showing of Rambo.
Yeah.
I come out of that movie with machine guns, grenade launchers.
You was ready to get back on a mission.
You betcha. I then somehow got back with Crockett, and, then the whole Starcade thing took place. I guess my point is this. So when the Gorgeous era, and you got all these mean guys, right? Let me put this all together now. It makes sense. Mick Foley, I love Mick. He's a really great guy. I seen him.
So what did he say?
He said this. He says, I've been Mankind, Dude Love, whatever. And he says, then there's, like kind of like you, Roddy, where you lived it 24/7. I found that really interesting and respectful, because here's the truth. To regain the respect for the industry, you had to be the guy 24/7. If you went into a bar and someone said fake, I was all over you. And Flair, they watched, because people were so, and these guys, even, with Hogan, he's Hogan 24/7 Flair. I could get with my family later, but you had to be that guy from about 73-ish to now we're coming up to 80. And then the fans, there was a whole swelling of professional wrestling is getting cool again. And out of TBS, and then they fired me. But it's a really great observation on Mick Foley's part, but the amount of sacrifice, not only those three men I just mentioned, but many others like them that made for our sport business, they gave their lives to it. And that's where I get mad when they take care of your own is like, and I love Vince to death. He's sick twisted. I love him. But what they don't know what we did for their business. And the last point I'll make on this is WrestleMania 1, after it was finished, Hogan and McMahon were at this big party. Bobby Orton and I, everybody was gone. Our car was gone. There was nothing, no security. We walked down that round thing to the bottom, and there's a policeman on a horse. And we realized, like, serious? And we just busted out that door. I don't know how many people. Just hitting and swinging. Got a cab, drove away. When you get treated like that, sometimes day after day, and you're constantly fighting, and then the people would come after my family. I knocked Mr. T down, kicked Cyndi Lauper, slapped whatever. I got people coming after my family.
Right.
It was a full-time job. And you had to live it. So, and the way I kind of got out of it was when my first child was born. I wanted, this is corny, man. I watched an episode of The Waltons, and it was a Christmas Waltons, and they had the family around and eating the turkey and stuff, and I wanted to have that family. And then all of a sudden, the lady I was with got pregnant, and there's an old saying, you need a license to hunt, you need a license to fish. Any idiot can have a kid. It takes a man to be a father. And it wasn't overnight, but I wanted to be a good dad, and I got really dark there. That was very, that would have been the entire 80s. I was really hard to deal with.
Okay, whoa, Roddy, let's put the brakes on right now. I'm getting a high sign from Stacy in there and the other side of that window, so we're going to put it to a close here. We're going to come back
next week. Continue down this same path. Incredible stories from one of the biggest legends in the history of pro wrestling, one of the guys that I have the utmost respect for. I want to thank all my sponsors for coming on this show, helping me spread the word. Audio whoop-ass around the world. Best audio whoop-ass you can find at PodcastOne.com and iTunes. My name is Steve Austin. As you well know, you can find my chump ass on Twitter, Steve Austin BSR. And with that being said, my chump ass website, BrokenSkullRanch.com. And with that being said, hey, I'll catch your ass down the road.
Hey, I got a new podcast coming. It's called Theory.
Don't you know?
This is Theo Rossi. Our world is changing. For many of us, it'll never feel the same. The important thing to remember is that we are all in this together. And that's some of what I want to talk about on my new show, Theory. We're going to discuss the things that no one ever does. The real talk, the sacrifice, and the struggle that everyone goes through. My life has kind of put me in a unique position to see things honestly. This is Theo Rossi, and my new show, Theory, launches on April 8th, officially on Spotify, PodcastOne, and Apple Podcasts.